Y'all, I want me a man that makes me so comfortable I wake up in the middle of the night and go, I need to get on a sourdough recipe. I need to get to cooking. I want a man so good to me that I wake up and I'm like, oh, my uterus, I think I need a child in there. Like, that's what I want. Not like a man that I'm fearing for my life and like thinking like, I need to check his Instagram followers. Like, I don't want that. I don't really want that anymore.
Hey. Well, there's your problem, sweetheart. You're saying that you don't want to date those guys anymore, which implies that you spent your prime years going after Chad, Tyrone, Raphael, Marco, Chang, Wang, Takeda, and Gunter in hopes that you'd be able to lock one of those guys down, even though you can't really lock those guys down because they don't suffer from closed head injuries and want to settle for less. Now, I am terrified at the idea of you cooking. You cooking a meat dish seems like it would match your innards. Burnt out and crusty on the outside while cold and dead on the inside. And I also find it kind of interesting that you want to do this now that you're used up and nobody actually wants you. If you had this attitude back when you were in your 20s, you would probably be able to find yourself a halfway decent guy and be cooking for him and be impregnated. But that won't be good enough for you. If you actually do find a guy like that, you're just gonna find a reason to resent him, and then you won't cook for him because you're not a slave and you hate the patriarchy because the patriarchy prevented women from being able to purchase chocolate bars until 1897. I hate to break it to you, sister, but you had your chance and you blew it.
Congratulations!
If he wants something with you, he's gonna make it happen immediately. He's gonna think, if I wait on this, she's gonna find someone else. Like, she's a catch. She's gonna find another person if I make her wait. So he's gonna snatch it up immediately. He is not gonna blow you off and be like, oh, let's figure it out as we go. No. He will go. He wants it now.
Get serious. That never works.
Lady, that's a cell phone. It's not a wishing well. You can't just talk into a camera and tell it what you want and then just hope that it's gonna magically happen for you one day. Men don't operate like that. They do need some time to make sure that the woman that they're dating is actually the woman that they want, especially when you consider that most self-respecting men have been burned relentlessly by modern women who have hated them for the crime of existing. What you're really saying is that you're hoping one day Chad will actually see you for the carbon copy flower that you are and will wife you up, even though he won't really want to. I mean, why would Chad want to give up his jet-setting bachelor lifestyle to settle down with a woman who is so uninteresting that she has to go on TikTok to cope with the fact that nobody wants her? But hey, look on the bright side, sister. TikTok isn't going anywhere, and you'll have plenty of time to lament over the fact that you screwed up your life and Chad doesn't want you, so you got that going for you.
You know that. Of course I do, sir. Everybody knows that. Of course we do, sir.
A few months ago, I was on my way to a first date, and the man did text me in the morning to confirm that we were still on for it. So I got ready, I drove over there, I got there on time, and I texted him and I was like, hey, I just parked, I'll be in a second. And maybe a minute later, I get a text back and he says, hey, your text actually just woke me up from a nap. I'm gonna get ready really quickly and then I'll be on my way over. Granted, this man lived about 30 minutes away.
Smelly fish.
And it's not a cod.
You gotta love these first date fail stories. Modern women can't help themselves but document every single first date they go on, and in this woman's case, I'm going to assume that this is first date number 97, and it's only been 1 month into the new year. Now, as we all know, with a modern woman, we have to take every single thing that she says with a hefty dump truck filled to the brim with salt, and this woman is of no exception. Now, if we took this woman's quote-unquote story at face value, then we may be able to surmise that, yeah, this guy might have actually fallen asleep on the day of the date, which has been known to happen from time to time. But yeah, I'm not buying this one. Something just doesn't sound right about it. Honestly, it's just because we get so many cringe stories from modern women who just go online to complain about first dates that have never happened, and this story is already starting to show the classic signs of plot holes. So go ahead, sister, go ahead, try to dig yourself out of this one, but I don't really think you're going to be able to.
Obviously, I was annoyed. Like, I had taken the time to get ready, drive over here, and show up on time, and he couldn't even bother to set an alarm to wake him up from a nap, and then expects me to sit around for him for at least 30 minutes. probably more. I just found that super disrespectful of my time. So I just responded and said, don't even worry about it. I texted my girlfriend and she came and met me for drinks instead. So it worked out.
Wow. That's amazing.
Okay, let's just go ahead and pretend that this story is actually true. Then this guy really didn't do anything wrong. He probably got his stuff done for the day and sacked out on the couch for a few minutes and ended up falling asleep. It's been known to happen. Dudes like to doze after all. But she was so offended at the notion that she couldn't wait 30 minutes for him to throw on a coat and head out the door because she had spent 6 hours getting ready, which really makes no sense. Most dudes couldn't care less about the time that a woman takes to get ready for a date. So long as she looks cute and is incredibly friendly, that's more than enough for most self-respecting men. But she already played all of her cards by being incredibly disrespectful because he fell asleep on a nap that he didn't really plan on taking. And so she decided to completely spite this guy by going out for alcohol with one of her friends, which makes sense when you think about it. I hope you enjoyed it, sister. Those friends are going to be the only company you keep once you hit the wall.
That's funny because it's so true.
So I was just sitting here scrolling and I came across a video of a girl talking about dating apps, and she was talking about Hinge and Bumble and how they're just not that great. And she was saying how in 2025, people are finding serious relationships on Tinder. And I'm very surprised by that because the last I knew, Tinder was where you went for something casual or if you weren't looking for something serious. But I was reading all the comments. So many people had positive things to say about it, and like that they met people, they're in a relationship, they just got engaged, whatever it was, like a lot of positive comments.
And
Oh, well, if some random TikToker and a bunch of AI bots ended up promoting Tinder, then I guess it must be true. I mean, lady, come on. Dating was never meant to be this complicated. All you have to do is go outside, talk to some men, and you will get a phone number and probably a date fairly easily. But society is so screwed that modern women cannot fathom the idea of having to put in the minimum amount of effort in order to find someone with which to spend the rest of their lives. This is how bad things have gotten in today's society. Modern women are so freaking confused on where to find men that they're actually falling back on the very same dating apps that kept them single in the first place. Woman, it's not that difficult. All you have to do is be nice, and odds are you'll find yourself a halfway decent guy. But as we all know, you don't want halfway decent. You want the total package, and that's just not going to happen for you.
So I'm like, I don't know. Apparently Tinder just went through this rebranding, and I guess that's the direction they're going in, is for people to be finding something serious on there. So I don't know. Is this what we're doing in 2025? Is Tinder what we're doing? I think I might have to check it out. But I just wanted to share it in case anyone else is dating with me here still in 2025. But I will check it out and I will report back.
idiots! It's simple!
Yeah, there's no need for you to report back, woman. We already know what's gonna happen. You're just going to get yourself incredibly more lost and confused in a world that was never lost or confusing until modern women decided that they were entitled for more. Tinder is a dating app, and dating apps are not about finding you a relationship. I don't know how many different ways I can spell this. It is a business. It is designed to make money. And how in the hell are these apps supposed to make money if women are finding true love? It's not that difficult to pay someone a couple of bucks to promote Tinder with their massive rebranding, and it's even easier to just get a whole bunch of Chinese bots to go ahead and sing its praises, because modern women take internet comments as holy writ. They base their entire lives off them. If somebody posts an internet comment, it will actually trigger them emotionally to the point where they'll do something about it, and that's actually kind of pathetic because, as we all know about modern women, they would rather follow some random internet comment than do anything that could even remotely resemble due diligence.
That's stupid. You're stupid. Stop being stupid.
I want to take a second to just say thank you to the fine members of the Bounty Board over on Patreon for their continued support of my work. Gentlemen and gents, thank you so much for your generosity. It means the world to me 10,000 times over. Thank you once again. All hail. And if you're interested in supporting my work, check out the Bounty Board over on Patreon, where for $5 a month, you can get access to exclusive content you're not going to find anywhere else. It's a great way to support my work at a low price. The link is in the pinned comment down below.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but call me the big bad bear today. You're hot. You ooze incomparable beauty from your very being. Anytime your visage meets my gaze, I look fresh out of the optometrist from getting my pupils dilated. Anytime you speak a bad word about yourself, it's a crime against humanity. Anytime you think a bad thought about yourself, an angel loses its wings. I will weep a million weeps and cry a million tears in the hope that I will nourish a blossom of self-love that you can take hold of and hopefully gain clarity and see what I see when you look in the mirror, because it is truly a transcendental experience. Mwah.
Lady, you're scaring us.
Is it just me, or does this woman look like she's coping after a massive nervous breakdown? I mean, woman, we all know that you're talking to yourself and that you're trying to give yourself an ego boost even though you are failing miserably at it. We already know that you cried 1 trillion tears probably in the last hour, and now you're trying to backtrack and talk yourself into thinking that things aren't that bad and that you really are a beautiful, magnificent creature with your bull ring and your unkempt hair, but let's just be real here for a second, lady. None of this is necessary. There is no amount of self-talk that you can give yourself that's actually going to change your current problem. You refuse to believe that you're imperfect and that it's the world that needs to change in order to meet your sensibilities, but in order to do that, you actually have to have some sensibilities, and the world needs to recognize that it's worth changing to suit you. The world doesn't do that. It doesn't really care. It's too busy dealing with real problems that's going to bring us to the verge of extinction. So, sorry, sister. Cope somewhere else.
There's the door. Why don't you check it out?
I just saw a video that was like, for the right guy, all you have to do is just exist. And I have a lot to say on this, okay? Like, oh my god, sorry, is this bitch ever gonna stop talking about her boyfriend? No, I'm not, because I have a lot to say. I've never heard a truer statement than that one, because in my past relationships with my other people, I felt like I had to jump through hoops, look a certain way, act a certain way, be a certain person, do certain things, have a certain job. All for them to not even like me, approve of me. Like, lower than the bare minimum. I just wanted them to approve me.
Oh, poor you.
Woman, I hate to be the one to tell you this, but if you actually are going to try to have a relationship with a man, you need to do significantly more than merely exist in order for that man to appreciate you. Men aren't just going to open up their lives and let you in just because you waste oxygen. You need to do significantly more than that. If a man is going to allow you entry into his entire life, you better be prepared to show him some gratitude, and that usually comes in the form of being warm, cooking a meal every once in a while, and not constantly busting his balls over innocuous things that you don't approve of, like video games and his taste in music. Now, if you were bending over backwards for men who weren't willing to give you the time of day, then that isn't really so much of a relationship as it is you constantly going into situationships and praying that if you give him enough bedroom fun, that he will enter into a relationship with you. But men like that aren't really interested in those types of things, especially for a woman who has practically nothing to say, such as yourself.
And now, all I have to do is just be. Like, just be. Be me, wake up, go about my day, be me, be silly, be myself. And this man not only approves, I don't even need his approval, he loves me. Are you kidding me right now? Like, it's almost sickening. It's so amazing. Like, it is amazing. Like, it feels so freeing to not have to feel like you need approval by the person you're dating. Like, common sense, yeah, but some bitches didn't have common sense before, you know what I'm saying?
Nobody cares, Sean. Nobody cares.
Woman, are you seriously trying to imply that you had common sense before? You never had it in the first place. You're not even currently carrying a lick of common sense as we speak right now. Now, things may feel great right now. You're still in the honeymoon phase, but pretty soon that guy is going to be expecting some form of reciprocation, and no, that doesn't come in the form with you just going about your business and being silly every once in a while. That man is going to want some peace from you, and if he's bending over backwards to try to make you smile, the least you can do is reciprocate in a couple of forms that doesn't involve creating stains in his bed. Now, we already know the inevitability of this relationship of yours. The second that he starts talking about his wants and his needs, all of a sudden, this great guy of yours is going to become a malignant narcissist, and you're going to need to break up with him so you can go off on a healing journey to become your most true and authentic self. You don't know any better. You use men, and when they expect something in return, you're just gonna give up on them because you're a modern woman. You're pretty much a leech, and that's all you really know how to do.
You're boring! You're fucking dull! You have nothing to say! You are a one-hived mind twat waffle!
I'm 28 years old now, and I'm living my absolute dream life, truly. Like, traveling the world, I'm in Tulum right now, all on my own dime. I have a career that I love. I'm surrounded by awesome people. I'm doing incredible things. Like, truly, looking back, this is my dream life. I'm in it. I'm there. And I've been thinking a lot about what it took to get here, and I just want to scoop out a piece of advice and hand it to you, okay? Open your hand.
No.
You know, I find it awfully interesting with all of these lists that you're putting of your so-called accolades. Having a good guy in your life isn't one of them. You're focusing on all of the minutia that is completely meaningless. You're traveling the world with memories that aren't really gonna mean anything. You have a job that's probably gonna get you laid off before the year's out. And all of these friends of yours will inevitably get married and start having kids, and they'll move on with their lives while you're left behind in their dust. You're not living the life that you want. You're living the life that other people told you that you want. You fell for the lie, hook, line, and sinker. And you think this makes you worthy of giving out life advice? Woman, you have failed in your one purpose of existing on this planet, and you're turning around and trying to make it seem like it's the greatest decision you ever made. But I hate to break it to you, sister. In 4 or 5 years, when you're still single and childless, you're gonna be wishing that somebody would give you some advice. So here I am. You should just shut up, because anything that you say from henceforth really lacks any merit.
And this is honestly for my child self, for my 20-year-old self. This is for her too. Hold on. Slow down, girl, okay? It's coming. If you have a vision, if you have a dream, it's there for a reason. Hold on to it. Hold on to that vision like your life depends on it, because it does. If you can hold that vision in your mind and then put it and lock it up in your heart, lock it in there with a fucking giant key and get rid of that. Get rid of the key, okay? And go back and visit that freaking place every single day. Go back to that vision in your heart and hang out with it. Spend time with it. Water it.
No offense, but it sounds like some fucking commie gobbledygook.
If there's one thing that we can count on with modern women, it's that they will always double down on every single one of their terrible life decisions and act like it's all just part of the plan and the universe has something big in store for them. Well, I will admit that, yeah, the universe probably does have a big plan for you, and that is your realization that one day when you're childless, alone, and you really have no one to depend on, when then and only then will you be hit with the realization that you made every single wrong decision you could think of, and instead of reflecting on this and maybe warning people of your past, you're just gonna double down and try to convince yourself that it's all going to change, that everything you ever wanted is just gonna be handed to you on a silver platter. And lady, your chances for that ended about 10 years ago. But you are so fixated on your cope that you are still in crazy amounts of denial over the fact that, yeah, you may have a job that you like, but that's nothing in comparison to raising your own child.
It will come. You don't need to know how. You don't need to know when. All you have to do is just water your vision. Girl, hold it in your heart. Feel into it. Live it. Be it. Okay? That place is very powerful. Truly, I'm gonna stop being silly and be for real. Your heart is powerful. It's magic. It's magnetic. It is the key to your dreams and your visions and everything you want. Okay? And it can happen, and it will happen. Just trust me. I love you.
Remember,
Your biological clock is ticking.
Woman, you can drop the charade because we all know that you're talking to yourself. You are clinging on to the hope that you still got time, that there's just some man out there who's gonna love you for who you are and fill up your uterus with some baby batter so you can live that life that you think you want. But woman, it doesn't work that way. You only have so much value on the market before Father Time takes a look at you and punches your time clock for you. You did not make wise decisions, and you're hoping against hope that you can still have a child, you can still have a husband, and live the life that you always wanted. And now you're trying to cope with expensive vacations and going on TikTok to talk about this spiritualistic gibberish that really makes no sense. The heart wants what it wants, and you denied it for over 10 years thinking that you still had time. Well, you don't. Your time's done run out, sister, and you blew it. You got no one to blame but yourself.
You blew it. Capiche?
Okay, ladies, listen up. Here's things that you need to look out for to figure out if he really is a provider or not. Okay, these are very, very easy and straightforward. So if a guy does these, he is not a provider. I can bet my whole life on it. Okay, so if from the get-go, from the minute you meet this man, he is complaining about women always wanting money and wanting nice things and wanting materialistic things, run. He's not a provider.
And that's an interesting thing about mathematics is when you're 50% right, you're 100% wrong.
You know what, sister? You did not have to bet your life on that statement. I've got a pocket full of intergalactic space pennies with more value than that life of yours, but you know what? In this case, I'm gonna meet you halfway and kind of agree with you. If you're interacting with a man who isn't cool with giving women endless amounts of money and trinkets just in exchange for their time, then yeah, you should run far away from those men because those men have self-respect and you clearly don't. You can't shame a man into not wanting to be a provider just because he doesn't want to give you a whole bunch of expensive shiny things you're only going to wear once. If that's the case, then yeah, you are a bit of a gold digger and you're telling this man that your time, your energy, and your presence comes with a price tag. And if you're charging this man for that, then, well, then you're not really dating. Your attitude is more in line with a certain other profession, which, man, you know what? The name's escaping me right now.
That's why I praise the Lord for prostitutes.
Okay, he doesn't want to provide. That's really what he's telling you. He's telling you, I actually don't want to provide, although I kind of need to because I'm a man, but I kind of, if I had the option not to, I wouldn't provide for you. Okay? Now, you don't want that kind of man anyway, right? Even if you're not even like a money hungry kind of girl, you still don't want that man. Even like a normal 50-50 pick-me girl really shouldn't be with a man like that because that man will siphon your energy, use and abuse you, and ruin your life.
Give me some money. Give me some money.
Yeah, that man's not gonna ruin your life, woman. You're doing a fine job of that on your own. Now, here's the thing. Just because a man doesn't want to shower you with presents doesn't mean that he doesn't want to provide for you. Providing means ensuring that you have plenty of food, safety, and security. That doesn't come in the form of expensive dresses and overpriced dinners. That actually comes in the form of making sure that you have a home, plenty of food to eat, and that you feel safe 24/7. That is what it means to be a provider. But you're not talking about a provider, you're talking about a sugar daddy. Now, you're trying to make it seem like you're not money hungry, which is just patently false. We already know this. You're emasculating men for not wanting to give you presents. That's a pretty clear-cut sign right there. And you're not gonna find a man who's just gonna blindly give you things just because you exist. The world doesn't work that way, sweetheart. Men work incredibly hard for everything they have in their lives, and they're gonna be incredibly careful about who they spend that with, and they're not going to waste a single penny on a gold digger like you. And that's going to do it for today's video, gentlemen and gents. And as always, if you find that my particular brand of comedy is bringing you to the brink of laughter, then why don't you scroll on down and click that like and subscribe button. Ring the notification bell, leave a couple of comments, and make sure to share this video so we can give the good old-fashioned middle finger to the YouTube algorithm. Thank you so much for checking out the new video, gentlemen and gents, and until next time, peace out, homies.